Alrighty, we are live from Columbus, OH. As you see me, um, not being prepared again today, and they did not end the show early today. So again, they must have cut something out yesterday. And we do have audio, so that is good. What up, Sid? What up, Aslan? Alrighty, you're watching this on youtube.com/coachstevemoney, and for my financial content, you just scroll right on down there. You see the Ramsey past the Oak Island playlist, and you see the Ramsey Show Aftershow, and the Answering Your Financial Questions playlists, both of those, and also the music playlist has 11 Ramsey adjacent songs in there. One more coming on the 500th show, which today is what, 492. So we got 8. So we got, what is it, Tuesday? So 3 more and 5 more. So 8 more shows, and then at least one new song will be debuting. And I'm seriously considering just singing all of the Ramsey adjacent songs on that 500th. Market report, and let's go ahead and reload this to make sure it is the current one, because at one point it says, let's see, 1,300 points in 2 days. Yeah, it lost 800 today. Previously, where did, oh, okay, let's move that over there. That's where it's supposed to be, and that's there. And yeah, okay. So if you look at the S&P 500 for today, you can see down all day. It was down 800 points, I think they said at the beginning of the day, or whatever, when they wrote that first article. I saw it said 800 points down on the Dow, but this is the S&P, and so you see it went up and even got positive for a little bit near the end. What time is that? That would be 3:25 p.m. where it did that, and then it all crashed again at the end of the day. So don't know what specifically happened to cause that, other than general worry. But people had that general worry all day. I don't think there's anything that happened that was the cause of that. Conversely, Nasdaq was the only thing up for most of the day. Well, I thought it was, wasn't it? One day. Oh, I guess by the time I looked at it, it was already up a little bit. So that must have been around 2 o'clock. I must not have looked at it before that. And so, as you can see, that's been a lot more time being up. But then again, that crashed as well. And so I don't know that let's see if they say. It's the trade war because of the tariffs, and so that may be left investors fearful. But again, what specifically happened that made the sell off at that point towards the end of the day? I know the end of the day prompts people to make rash decisions. Some people, people day trading, obviously, and even companies that own stocks day trading as well, perhaps. I'm calling it a conditional correction. Okay, you can call it whatever you want, strategist. It's really based on one condition: by how much Trump is going to retain the tariffs. Well, it depends on how that works out, I guess. I don't know. But again, in the long run, you don't base your investing decisions as a individual on something like this. This is why you turn off the news, because they will grab onto something like tariffs and just try to get all those clicks. Let's see what. Let's just put in tariff and see what's going on. I guess I could do trending too, like Sid taught me how to do. But you see, all kinds of stuff. Please click on our story about it. Please click on our story about it. And it's just, yeah. So plenty of stories about it today. And so what you do is you go like this. You go X, and if this is your TV, you're watching TV news. Don't do that. Um, you get the gist of it after a few minutes. Yeah, there's tariffs, and so that's what they're blaming the stock market going down on. And again, at the end of the day, it's not that much. The Dow Jones is the most, 1.55% down, 670 points down. And again, it had been down 800. So, um, see what futures say. Probably down more. Yeah, but just a little bit for the just barely for Nasdaq. Nvidia made money today. Where's that? Let's see. So did Google, and all these were at the start, like when I started looking at the market around 2 p.m. Eastern time, all of these were red. And so you can see Amazon, oh no, not Amazon, Microsoft at 0.03%. And so that's a really, really low number, but that's still positive. Google, I don't know why Google made a lot of money today. And losing the most, of course, Tesla, as usual, with the highest amount up or down. And we got Nvidia up 1.69%, and they were up like, I think, almost 3% earlier in the day. So we'll have to see what happens tomorrow on that. Let's get to some questions. Well, we can check, I guess, on the other countries. Everything down in Europe, mostly down in Asia. The dollar down to the euro, to the yen, to the British pound low. But still up over the Canadian dollar. Oh, until I said it. Why did you wait until I said it and to change? So, and this is, of course, constant. Doesn't shut off when the market closes. And the Australian dollar might, they said nar to the US dollar being higher. All right. And again, we don't have any fun. Marvel Technology and Broadcom, that'll affect your NASDAQ, your large cap, et cetera, et cetera. But nothing, Costco, perhaps. But not crazy exciting ones coming up, but we'll see what happens with those. Now let's do some questions. Oh my goodness, the chat has gone crazy since I didn't want. Since it's most affordable law school, there was a lawyer that had something like what, $300,000, something like that in student loans. Got the law degree. Living in Atlanta and somehow only making $90,000 a year. So that must be why talking about affordable law schools. It could have been a thing. I don't know where she went to law school, but it could have been for a law degree. Could have been a private college for the pedigree, which obviously didn't help her. And as I was saying in the Ramsey Show chat, this is why you don't do loans for education, because it's not a guarantee. Obviously smart enough to get the degree and pass the bar, obviously smart enough to do that, but every person isn't cut out for every position. And so maybe she can't be a lawyer. Maybe that's not good for her. She knows how to do it. She knows the law, but maybe some of the other stuff involved in it, not so good at. Marshall. Canada was mad, but said they still want to work something out. Great. And that is one of the common things that people think, is that this is just the start of negotiations on that, and that it will be worked out. But regardless, again, this is just one more thing that happens in the White House that isn't nearly as important as what you are doing in your house. Canada said they were going to turn off the electricity going to Montana. Canada has the grid going to Montana? I did not know that. Interesting. Oh, New York and another state. Interesting. I did not know that. Well, if you can do that, that might give you some leverage in those negotiations, Canada. We'll turn off your electric, Um, should have our own, of course. I don't know why they would even have that be the case. The M stands for of MISO, MISO, mid-continent. Maybe they have plants that connect to that network. Yeah. All right. Trade war creates more headlines than creates more headlines, Robert Crum said, and you are correct on that, sir. Just like you call a show the Curse of Oak Island rather than just Oak Island Treasure Hunt or that kind of thing. You say the Curse of Oak Island because that gets more clicks as well. That makes more people watch. And that's how you sell it. That's how you sell it to the History Channel as well. So let's see. We left off on this one. I did the Aha song yesterday, and you people were very excited about that, I'm sure. Didn't do the whole song. Did a cappella as well. And I didn't get copyright stricken, so it must not have been as close to the original as I thought it was. Obviously, no music with it either. What would Dave do? Flair. Oh, and why I'm thinking about it. The why I'm considering just singing all the songs that day, because whether I do all of them or just one of them, copyright will apply to the entire video, not just the few seconds or the like 3 minutes or so for each song. So I'll just go ahead and probably do that. Because then they get, and now some of them are decent. It just depends on who the copyright holder is, and it may depend on other things as well. But some of them do split it half and half because they realize it's a cover or a parody, something like that, and they split it half and half. But some of them are like, no, that's all our money for this video. You used. Even if you use, probably you don't have to even sing this whole song. If you use probably a minute of it, maybe less than a minute even, then it's still okay. We'll take all that. And granted, it's not that much. It's not that much money at all either. Anyway, YouTube doesn't work like that. But still. I'll be giving Taylor Swift, I guess, a couple pennies so she can add to her billions. So, yeah, so that's the explanation on that. All right, so again, we're at reddit.com/r/Dave Ramsey, and we get the questions from there. And again, not run by Ramsey Solution, run by fans. And so people will give non-Dave advice on there. And that's fine. Boom, boom, boom. Manitoba is part of MISO. 80% of Marshall's work is securing the grid. Well, I would say that's good. Maybe what do you do with the other 20%? Marshall, do you watch TV? Scroll through the Instagram. What would Dave do? Flair here. Okay, and I love this when people actually select that. What would Dave do? And then they say, now I know Dave Ramsey says blah blah blah, but what would you do? So weird. But we'll see if that. My mom is 53 years old. I am 23 and currently living with her while working full time to save a bunch of cash. My fiance is with her folks as well, all right, for a hefty down payment on a house. I took a high school course that was pretty much all Dave Ramsey, so that's helped a lot. Possibly the foundations in finance, that is his curriculum, is what I would imagine it would be, unless they have something else out there, or the high school teacher maybe made up their own based on Dave's stuff. Who knows? My mom is somewhat behind in retirement. She currently has about 150K spread over several 401Ks and a state retirement. One has 30K in Amazon stock alone from her time there. I tried to convince her that this is risky, but no budging for now. Alrighty, well, um, I don't know how Amazon's going to do in the future, but generally, if you look at the 10% average a year, that should be, that 150K should be making $15,000 per year. So I would say that is behind unless, if you have everything paid off already, you have house paid off, so you don't have to worry about that. You have no other debt. You have a full emergency fund. And then you can just save up for retirement. 53 years still has plenty of time to work. Still has, what, if you go to 65, you got 12 years left to work, and so you just keep working and you can put as much into retirement as you want to if you're on step 7. If you have a mortgage still, that's going to be a problem. If you have step 2 debt still, that's going to be a problem. I try to go, okay, so not going to do the single stocks, not can't convince to get rid of Amazon. And it's harder probably to convince old people to change anything that they're doing. Let's see. She, olds, am I right? She makes roughly $52,000 pre-tax, give or take, because of overtime, and gets $1,000 cash a month for renting a room out to her friend. With 26 paychecks a year, she puts $560 a month into a 401k. They match 168. Okay. 560 a month into her HSA. Okay, that's fine as well. She is planning for surgery in a year or so. Okay, and then see, it's all life always will happen to you. Other things will always happen to you other than, oh, I want to get my retirement taken care of. That's plenty for you to concentrate on at one time, but then now it's going to be a bunch of other stuff maybe in addition to the surgery. We'll see. And I am paying her rent of $500 a month, which I put into a Roth IRA. You put it in your Roth IRA or her Roth IRA? I opened for her. Oh, I opened for her. Okay, great. All right, invested in, yep, I think that's, is that Fidelity's? Oh, that's right. I can just go search Google. There we go. That is the S&P 500 index fund. That's exactly what I thought it was going to be. Lazy, leaving money on the table, may not know any better. The 23-year-old may not know any better, even though took the Ramsey course, and that probably I don't know how much into investing that gets. She'd sometimes add some extra of her own money into this as well, and that is wise, unless she has step 2 debt that needs to be paid off. She also puts extra on her mortgage and thinks 10 to 15 years is realistic for it to be paid off, and that would be an early payoff. Okay. Well, we already have a wedding date, so I will be moved out in less than 2 years, right? Which drops 500 off, right? But if she can keep grinding and pay her mortgage off early, I see no problem with her retiring at 70. Okay, yep. Pushing that back certainly helps. She will have minimum expenses at that point. I calculated that she could maybe have 700K if she keeps investing at the pace she's at. And assuming Social Security is still around, that will help as well. Yep. So that's going to make 70K a year. And so if you don't have a mortgage payment, hopefully you can live on 70K a year and then a plus Social Security. Is there anything you guys would recommend to help her out? I've already started towards retirement and actually make more than her. So I'm trying to help her out. But recently she's taken it a lot more serious, which I'm happy about. Taking it serious at 53 is better than starting to take it serious at 54 for sure. Any advice is appreciated. Ed, I'm going to pay her 500 anyway. Oh, she asked that I set up a Roth for her and I send her the money and it goes straight to her Roth. All right. As long you got to make sure that all your finances are in good shape before you got to put on your oxygen mask before you assist others, as always, including in financial matters. But yeah, so she just has to work longer, and don't know what kind of surgery. Now, a planned surgery, if it's cosmetic, come on. If it's just something like if it is actually a medical health issue, then that's a different thing. But we don't know what that is on that. So I mean, this person's doing a good job. It also doesn't say that there's no debt either. So that's the first thing you ask. First thing you ask anytime is what baby step you are on so you can correctly assess the situation because it's different advice for different baby steps that you're on. And the advice would be to finish the earlier baby steps first rather than to be investing in retirement despite being an old. Alrighty. This is Scribbles underscore cat. Need advice. It need advise. Advise is something that you do, like I'm advising you. Advice is the noun, so you would need advice. New, okay? I need advice on managing money. So it says emergency fund and another emergency fund for job loss, etc. You do 3 to 6 months of expenses on paycheck to paycheck. Mom and spouse is stay-at-home dad. Do I combine both emergency funds together when I paid off my debt? Yeah, you know the $1,000 is not a separate one from the baby step 3 full emergency fund once you get to baby step 3. And you are not adding to the $1,000 while you're paying off debt. So let's see, no retirement and don't make enough to contribute to it. Okay, well, that's sad. And so you got to work that out. You got to work something out about that, whether it's working more or, person doesn't say, I've cut things from the budget. So that would again be what you would be having to do when you don't make that much money. Or when you make a lot of money, but it's in a high cost of living area and that cancels out that. Let's see what the kids. Marshall says the other 20% is someone else's work in another department. Okay, and of course that's not good. That's not good management there from whoever is in charge there. If you have to do somebody's work from another department, the other department should be doing it. Whoever's in charge of the other department should be doing that work. Marshall may have an unexpected expense coming up. Summer clothes don't fit, so I might have to buy a week's worth of clothes next week. Marshall, they have clothes at the Goodwill, ma'am. And also the Walmart, so I'm sure you know already. You don't have to go to the boutiques or the mall to get new clothes. Alrighty. And you still got time because it's not going to be warm for a while, hopefully. Oh, the 80% of the company's work is the grid. The company employs more than just me. Right. I thought you meant, though, for everybody. Like everybody in your department has to take up the slack for some other department, I thought. Marshall will be stopping by Salvation Army. I did not know Salvation Army was a thing. Oh, yeah, I did. Dumb. Why was I thinking Navy? What was I thinking? I was thinking Navy was the right one in Army. So, okay. So today may be the day for dementia. Dementia watch is on for Coach Steve Money. It will be hot in the Bahamas. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot you were going on that. I forgot you were going on that, ma'am. Yes, it will be warm. Oh yeah, and that's later this month, right? Huge interaction 778. I'm so ashamed of how bad our finances got at the worst. 60K debt still in baby step 0. 33K of that was overdue bills. We almost lost everything. The other 27K was credit card to pay bills as long as we could. As of today, we have paid off $28,000 and $431. So the baby step 0 is when you had 60. So you shouldn't have paid, if you didn't have a $1,000 emergency fund, you should not have paid off 28,431. You should have paid off 27,431. Okay. Oh, another 5K to pay before we move to baby step 1. Okay. Oh, they're overdue. They're past due. And part of baby step 0 is to get current. Okay. Gotcha now. Figured it out. Scared to look at the chat because that's the kind of thing that Sid would pick up immediately. Happened. Nope. She didn't. Good. All right. Capital Web 6255. Paying debt is scary. It all depends on your mindset. Like the way my mindset, like once I actually started following the fabulous advice of Mr. Ramsey, it's more scary to me to have debt. Let's see. My first month at my first normal job is done, normal. And I got paid. Great. That's how it should work. You work and then you get paid. I also received some money from other sources since they owed me some money, and now I got a couple of thousands. However, setting aside the money for your budget and paying the remaining money all to the debt, it's scary not knowing if you're going to need extra cash halfway the month. Well, you just don't buy that. Like you have to, that's why you do the budget, is so you know how much money you will need. And so, all this stuff comes up. It doesn't matter if they put something else that you normally don't buy because it's too expensive and the grocery store puts it on sale. That's fine to buy that, but then you have to subtract the amount that you would buy on something else. Then you have to adjust your spending to whatever's happening in the world. You adjust your spending on that. And so you live on what that is, on what you have set aside. Now, and on your first budget, you might not get it right, especially because most people have not been paying attention to it. But you can check your bank account and see how much you have been spending. Hopefully, it's all coming out of one checking account, because if you've got multiple accounts everywhere, using that debit card at the grocery store, then that could be a problem. On top of getting cash out and using that sometimes, that makes it harder to track. So try to just do it from one financial institution so you have it all right there. So you know exactly what you're spending, and you can look at it and say, okay, I don't need that, and that's way expensive, so I should buy more of this than that kind of thing. Yeah, so there's no such fund. You got the $1,000 emergency fund is step 1, and you don't get to have money set aside if you need extra cash halfway through the month. You just don't do whatever thing came up. Like for example, if you forgot you didn't budget enough for Christmas. Christmas is not an emergency. You don't tap the emergency fund, and so that extra Christmas spending just doesn't happen if you're going to follow the baby steps. And so again, you just have to change your mindset to the having debt is scary. The paying debt makes it less scary, and you just got to get yourself into that mindset. Alrighty, athlete number 971. Yeah, Marshall said the cruise, that's the Ramsey cruise, is at the end of the month. Just need to tell someone who gets it. Yep, alright. There's a lot of it, apparently. Whoa, alright. Me, 26 female, and my husband, 27 male, are on baby step 2, and everyone in our life thinks we are crazy. I wouldn't say you're crazy, but you're not normal for sure. They're the normal ones, you're the weird one. So you do have to accept that and give grace to people. And you can still be friends if they don't understand with them, but it's hard to share that with them because a lot of people that are normal thinks that's the way you should do it, or is just stuck in doing it that way. And so when they hear that you're paying off all debt and you're not gonna use credit cards anymore ever, what's up with that? And so they just don't understand. Another thing it could be a lot of times is that they don't like you doing it because that means that they should be taking a look at their finances too and doing something about that, but they don't want to do that because they don't want to sacrifice anything. So, but you get pushback on both things, or just even if they don't say anything, you can tell. Like sometimes, what they are thinking and so forth, and just by their language used. And so you just have to basically, if that's going to happen, you just have to not bring up money with them again. And so you have to find your people, and your people, once you start doing the Ramsey advice, would be in, for example, here, the Ramsey Show chat would be another place. There's a Ramsey Show, Solutions Run Facebook group called the Ohio State University is the Ramsey Baby Steps community. And so that you talking about the Ramsey stuff will go over much better there than it will with your normal friends. And that's just because they're normal and you are the weird one. You didn't have any, they didn't have any problems with you, right? You could say anything you wanted to, right? Before you started doing the Ramsey stuff. And then again, just makes them realize that they should be doing it too, and they don't wanna, or they say it's impossible and all of that. I've been an occasional Ramsey listener for quite a while. Over a year ago, we committed to not taking out any more debt. And even though having our first baby and my husband losing his job, going through the hardest time in our lives, as an already low income household, waiting 3 months for my husband to complete his CDL B training to become a bus driver, we stuck to not taking on any new debt. Fabulous. And that's what you got to do. That's where it starts. You don't add to the problem. For the past year and change of not taking on any new debt, we weren't very gazelle intense about paying it off, though. He started his full-time position as a bus driver finally about a month ago, and now that we're back on track financially, we had some catch up to do, and I've been as gazelle intense as I can trying to get debt out of our lives. That is advised. 1 month ago, our debts were as follows. Different ones. Looks like 1,200, 1980, so 1,000, 2,900. So three, that like 18,000 or so. As of yesterday, we've paid and closed the Capital One, the Care Credit, and the Discover. Husband's bringing home 600, 700 a week. We've been selling everything we can think of. Yep, a lot of times people, they just don't think about that, is to sell the stuff they bought with credit cards that they're not using. Sell it. And at 32 weeks pregnant, I picked up a waitressing job around his hours to bring in extra money. I've been a stay-at-home mom for a good chunk of our 20-month-old's life. Returning to work when things get tight. We needed a new car. We own a convertible and a compact smart car with baby number 2. No, you didn't. On the way. That doesn't mean you need a car. If it has 2 seats for the babies, you can put in 2 car seats in there. So again, you don't have to get an SUV just because you're having a second child. Or, some people think that on the first child. And last week we bought a 2012 minivan with 130K miles on it in cash. Okay, well, at least did it in cash, but probably overreaction. That does happen. Can be hormone spending. That does happen for moms, and even dads can say, "Oh, we need that for the baby," when the truth is they just want it. Everyone thinks we were crazy for buying an old minivan. Me too, but not because it's old. Everyone else thinks you're crazy because it wasn't new. I think you're crazy for buying it at all. I mean, maybe one of the other vehicles could have had a issue or something like that, and they would have had to replace it anyway. And didn't say how much maybe they got a good deal on it. Who knows? Starting a job when 32 months pregnant. Right. Yeah. They think you're crazy for doing this stuff at all. So it shouldn't surprise you. As you go along, that will surprise you less and less. You'll get used to it. The job is totes aware and doesn't mind since I've worked there previously. Everyone thinks we're crazy. You're not normal. You're weird. Oh, it's not crazy. It's a great idea to follow the Ramsey advice for sure. When we turn down an invitation because eating out isn't in the budget and we've got debt to clear. Right. You don't need to turn down invitations that don't cost any money. But yeah, if it's going to mean eating out, costs you money, that's the ones you turn down. And you say it's nothing against you, just trying to get our finances in order. So we don't do that. But I'm just so excited every time I make a tiny little extra payment towards something. I get this adrenaline rush. Fabulous. And how harmless is that? None. I don't think. How bad could it be to be this excited about paying off debt? Well, it can go the other way too. So if you do this and you go through the other baby steps, when you get on step 4, you are supposed to relax a little and spend more on fun things. And when you get on step 7, you're supposed to spend a lot more money on fun things as well. So some people can't really turn off that switch of being amazingly gazelle, which it helps in the early baby steps, but staying that way for the rest of your life, that can affect your life that way, because you've earned the right by being gazelle intense on the early baby steps to not have to be until gazelle intense on the later baby steps. P.S. I know Dave said to pause baby step 2 when a baby is on the way. That much is certain, but I can't help it. I got to get out of debt. All right, so you're Dave-ish then. Not doing it correctly, but still, it is good to pay off debt. And so we do get it. We understand the wanting to get out of debt for sure. Secret _291 says paying credit card. I have $5K in credit card debt. One card $2,300 and one card $2,700. I have $2K from taxes and want to apply that to my debt. Is the best way to pay one card all of the $2K or split between the two? Both have about the same amount of interests. Like they're interested in movies and hiking and stuff like that. Person meant interest, of course. Or does it matter if I pay more on one or the other? Okay, so you see, are you familiar with the baby steps, sir? Because baby step 2 says pay off debt using debt snowball. That means smallest to largest, so that means it would go to the 2,300 one. How about that? So, you don't know these people's experience with the baby steps, and could have, read them a number of times, but just didn't catch the smallest to largest part, or think that their little situation is an exception, but it's not. So that one's a very easy one. That one is a ad disguised as a post. Altruistic Gap 6315. I think this person has posted on here a number of times. European student loans. What would you do? You pay them off. My camera's wobbling. Why is that? I'm still good. All right. Hey everyone. Hi guys. I just finished the Total Money Makeover a few months ago, and it really opened my eyes, and it opened up my eyes, and I am happy now living without you. I've left you. Oh, 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 I saw the sign. Since reading it, I got my small emergency fund in place, and I'm now saving for the bigger one while also putting money towards retirement. Okay, obviously didn't understand it. I think the Total Money Makeover does specifically say how to do the baby steps. You do baby step 1 first without doing any other baby steps. Once baby step 1 is done, then you do baby step 2 second. And you don't do any higher baby steps. There's a no. You don't add to this $1,000. All your money goes to paying off debt. Step 3, you do only step 3. You do not start saving for a house, saving for a down payment, which is step 3B, and you don't start investing or putting extra on mortgage or saving for kids' college. No, 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 no. Once you get done with baby step 3, your full emergency fund, however, then that's when you would start saving for down payment if applicable to you. If that's what you want to do, you can. And the balance between that and investing 15% of your household income into retirement, that can be a lower percentage while you're saving for a down payment. It can be as low as 0 for up to 2 years per Mr. Ramsey, and that allows you to save up a larger down payment faster, which helps out in those situations where you don't make high cost of living income, but you do live in high cost of living area, and so that makes up the difference. You just have to save for longer. You don't get a pass on math because of that. That doesn't give you an excuse to take a 30-year mortgage because you do that. And so anyway, steps 1, 2, and 3, one at a time without even thinking about higher steps. Stop it, people. And 4, 5, and 6 you do in that priority order all at the same time. So you're doing it wrong, Europe. So in place, I'm now saving for a bigger one while also putting money towards retirement. But here's where things get a weird. Now they're already weird because you're doing it wrong. I'm in Europe and our student loans don't work the same way. It doesn't matter. The advice would still be to pay it off. I've got about 40,000 euros left, but the terms are pretty unique. It's a 30-year loan, and whatever's left at that just disappears, right? And some people choose to, probably most people over there, just choose to ride it out and pay whatever little amount they have to pay, and then just wait for it to disappear. The interest rate is ridiculously low, 0.4%. Payments are based on income, and if you earn below a certain threshold, you don't have to pay. Up to 60 months of pauses is allowed on top of it. Right, that still doesn't change the fact that Dave would say to pay it off. You took it out, you pay it off. It's a loan, it's not a gift. They didn't give you a gift. They are making you do payments in the meantime, but then for some reason they're giving you the free money. And that's not, the loan for Europeans is a bad idea the same way it is here in the United States, because that's a bad investment by the government, because you getting that degree, as we learned, doesn't always mean you graduate. It doesn't always mean that you get a job in that field and that job is makes a lot of money, makes enough to pay off the loan, and that you will like that job. None of that's guaranteed, so that's dumb for the government to be getting involved in that. It's dumb for our government to be involved in it as much as they are. We say, what would I do? I would pay it off. You pay off the loans you take out. And so, growing up with this in Europe, I'm sure it's very, very normal. But they've gotten a few calls on the Ramsey show where people paid them off in Europe. But I assume most people would just run out the clock on that. And so, and I'm sure, how many comments? 11 comments. I'm sure at least half of them said, no, why would you pay it if it's free? But that would not be the Ramsey advice. What up, Zach? Is there an event going on 4th, 6th, and March? Thursday, through the Ramsey show. Yeah. It's the, that starts tonight. It's the investing thing. And it is not free. I think it's I think a couple $100 or something like that. I can't remember how much it is, but it's the investing presentation that Dave and George do. Cash Money Holding 99. Should I pay off my credit card now or wait a few weeks? Well, if you have the money and you don't need that money for anything else during the next 2 weeks, then yes, you would. If you need the money for something else, like you wouldn't take that out of your emergency fund to pay off the credit card, even though it's closed. A lot of people get that idea because they're like, nobody can stop, apparently. Nobody can stop themselves from thinking of a way to do the baby steps better. Everybody has to try to think of doing that. Or, again, they just don't understand how the baby steps will work. Let's see, looking for a bit of advice, perspective on best options moving forward. Bring home around. See, all this stuff doesn't matter it only matters from now until the next week. But anyway, $79.13. But I have a mortgage payment of $32.95. Of course you do. And so, I mean, that's coming up to about half of that take-home pay, dog. So that's too much house. But anyway, the question is about the credit card. Currently I have $10K in savings. Emergency fund. Okay, so you shouldn't have that at all. So that money, any debt, that $10K goes down to $1K, and you would throw that. Yeah, so if you have $10K in savings, would you be having $8,600 in credit card debt? That would be a no, because where does it say save $10,000? It does not say that anywhere there, unless they miscounted the zeros there and didn't see the comma. That's $1,000. You don't have any more than $1,000 while you're doing baby step 2. What is so difficult about it? I don't get it. And I would love people to to explain it to me. I've had clients actually that thought that too, and they couldn't really explain it other than I just thought that's what you were supposed to do. Like do them all at the same time, I would assume, but they didn't say. They just said, that's just the way I did it. That's just the way I thought you were supposed to do it, and so I dropped it, let it go at that. But yeah, I'm very curious to see how people misinterpret the baby steps. And I give them a little bit of grace because it does not say do steps 1, 2, and 3 one at a time without even thinking about higher steps. And it doesn't say do steps 4, 5, and 6 all at the same time in that priority order. It does not say that on there. And to make it say that would make the chart unwieldy. So they're trying to keep it simple for people. And so I understand that. Yeah, so you're doing it wrong. In the process of rebuilding my emergency fund from being laid off early last year and ended up racking up some debt in the process. Yep. Shouldn't have been doing that because you should have been using that 10K, if you're calling that 10K, your emergency fund. See, it's not savings / emergency fund. Those are two different things, and you don't have other savings than emergency fund except for things that are 100% necessary and that you save up for over time. That's called a sinking fund. So you don't have just regular general savings. You have the emergency fund, and that's it. And then if you need to save a sinking fund for new tires, is my favorite example of that, then you do that. You can do that on step 2. But you cannot have 10K just sitting in savings. That's not the emergency fund. That is above it. So if that's the emergency fund, you're doing it wrong. You need to take that 0K out of, or 0 out of it, and just have 1K. And everything else would go to debt. You're doing it wrong. Let's see. But laid off. So, scared. I understand that. Doesn't change the advice. I'm expected to receive a tax refund about $7,000. Redo your W-2. And potentially a bonus, or your withholding rather, which is a W-4 form, I think. Redo the withholding, and potentially a bonus within the month of March. Still unsure of what the bonus amount will be, as it's based on company performance. Currently debating if I should go ahead and pay off my credit card now. Yes, should have already had it gone, or just wait until I receive the refund check. Yeah, you don't have anything other than $1,000 emergency fund while you are in step 2, unless again it's a sinking fund for a specific purpose, not just a general slush fund. Because most of the time, if people have a general slush fund, if they see something they want, they'll use that money to buy it. And so that's why you don't do that, so you don't tempt fate on that. What time? I don't know. Go to ramseysolutions.com/events, sir. And it will tell you normally around, those are around like 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern time usually. Should I pay off the loan? The answer is yes, always. Walter Meister 2024. The only time that would be a no is if you don't have $1,000 starter emergency fund. Should I pay off loan? Here's my situation. I owe $17,000 on a vehicle that cost me $538 a month. Dumb as crap. Don't finance vehicles. The interest rate is 5.49%. Doesn't matter. I have around $100K available in savings. If left as is, the loan will be paid off in 2028. Okay, this is debt leveraging for you to have savings. You're debt leveraging that car financing, the car loan, to have extra savings. That's debt leveraging, and that's a no. I don't understand why it's so hard to understand. So that's what I don't understand. And you don't understand the baby steps. You don't understand the advice in general. I'm also trying to buy a house, and that's a no while you have baby step 2 debt. That's a no. You're not doing that if you're going to follow the Ramsey advice. If not, you don't need to be asking this question. Just do what you want to do. Do what you think is best. And why ask anybody else? 79 comments, so I'm sure back and forth on that from people. Oh yeah, it's okay to debt leverage, back and forth from people on that. So that's too many comments to wade into. Which is what creates my hesitation period. Well, you should have had hesitation when you thought about buying a house. At the same time you have debt and having extra savings. At the same time you have debt. That's a no, 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 no. And that never changes. None of anything about your little situation is going to change that advice. I have one other loan with a payment amount of $381, but I owe much more, so not looking to pay off at this time. You should be with that $10,000 that you have saved up. Or no, your $100K in savings. This is you're doing it dumb. You might not be a dumb person, but you are doing it. This is actually the normal way, though. So, you try to give grace. This is the normal way of doing it, debt leverage. And this is how most people do it. But, again, you're on the Dave Ramsey subreddit. So, you've not ever heard of the general advice for no loans. So the way you fix no loans, if you have loans, is that you pay them off as fast as you can. Even, yes, at the expense of your 100K that, might be part emergency fund, part saving for down payment. Sorry, that's a no. You don't do that. The Ramsey baby steps may not be for you if you don't want to do that. If you want to be saving for a down payment and leaving debt laying around, and also having 100K, and yours should only have, that should be 1K, and so 99K of that savings would go to debt. Hopefully you don't have that much money in debt altogether. But if, where are we? All this considered, does it make sense to pay off the 17K vehicle loan or keep the money as a down payment on a house? Already asked and answered already. Objection, asked and answered. Financial baseball 485. How aggressive should I pay on my house? I'm in the military, just moved into a house, no debt at all. Currently doing 10% investing and saving a little for kid college. You're doing it wrong. Not as wrong as the other person, though. Military housing allowance covers all my housing costs. We like the area, but aren't from here and may move after I get out in 4 years. Any thoughts on how aggressively I should pay on the house and why? You need to be doing 15% to retirement, sir, out of your pocket. That would be in addition to anything free the military gives you. Thank you for your service, by the way. But also, you're doing it wrong. And so when you get out in 4 years and might move, you do not buy a freaking house. So that was a dumb idea. But now that you've done it, I mean, you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. You may decide to re-up. Who knows what's going to happen? If you re-up and they keep you in the same spot, keep that same house, fine. But you would continue paying it. And then guess what? When you sell it, you get all that money back and you can buy a new house. But if you move to another new area, do not buy a house first. You rent first for a year, and then that way you'll know if you want to stay there, and you'll know exactly what area of town you would like to buy the house in. So you should be totes aggressive. You follow the baby steps like you're going to stay there, and then if you're not going to stay there, you get all that money back when you sell the house. That addressed everything, didn't it? Yep. 15% into retirement above what the military gives you for free. And yes, you're doing baby steps 4, 5, and 6. Oh, that's right. And yeah, that's what you should be doing, saving a little for kid college. The younger they are, the smaller the amount you have to put in per month. So all that's fine, except you got the percentage wrong, and the answer is yes, you aggressively pay it off. You'll get it back. That's the same thing as saving for a new down payment. Researcher number 9971. Didn't we just see that? Or was it some other number? I thought we saw a number. Huh. Guess we didn't. Could have sworn we did. Anyway, researcher number 9971. Dave says there's no such thing as a forever home, and he's right on that. You can try to argue that. How many houses have you owned? I hear Dave Ramsey says he has bought and sold several homes. He has. So that doesn't change the advice, because, see, the problem is people use this is going to be our forever home. They use that as an excuse to not follow the guidelines. So that's the reason he says that. So that you don't do that dumb crap just because you think it's going to be your forever home and always in motion is the future, Did we learn nothing from Yoda and Empire Strikes Back? Always emotion is the future. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know that that's going to be your forever home. So stop that dumb bull crap. Alrighty. Major Earth 7611. What would Dave do? No. Oh, what would Dave do? Flare down here as well. This person does like to talk about their flare. How to prioritize these goals: invest, contribute to retirement, fertility treatment, new car, and pay down mortgage. Well, it wouldn't be a new car. The fertility treatment can happen anywhere in here. You just have to pay cash for it instead of borrowing money for it. Let's see if there's more explanations that would change anything from just the advice looking at the question. Husband and I, both 35, are at baby step 4. Okay, that does help to say what baby step you're on. Don't have kids, but want them and will need to do fertility treatment or adopt. I thought that was some kind of actual like name of a fertility treatment, but no, it's supposed to be 2 words here. Or adopt. Costs $50,000 plus. We make combined $200K. We want to invest more, put more towards our 401ks, cash flow, adoption / treatment, and we need, again, might be a need, it might only be a want. A new car. How should we prioritize? The math doesn't seem to work to do all at once. Really? This person figured it out themselves. So then, where you would go from there, even if you're not following the Ramsey advice, where you would go from there would be, what do you want most to happen? Do you want to have a child the most? Do you need another car the most? That kind of thing. So you would have to say which one. So the problem is you are limited to the amount of money coming in to do any of them. And so the advice would be to do it in any order here. If you actually need a new car, then it would not be a brand new car. It would be one that gets you from A to B. While you not having a nicer car allows you to invest more. The investing and contributing to retirement are the same thing. You would not invest outside of retirement until step 7. So that gets rid of that one. So there's contribute to retirement, fertility treatment, new car, and pay down mortgage. And so being on step 4, so you're in a better spot to do all of this stuff. Not at the same time, of course. You do have to have priorities. You're in much better shape than if you were on baby step 1 and wanting to do all this stuff. So if you need a new car, you get a new car. Let it be a beater. Do that. And so that one is the least amount of money going to it. So I would take care of that first. And then if fertility treatment is the second highest priority, well, then you would do that. And up to you if you want to try that or adopt. The treatment probably doesn't cost $50,000. So you might want to start there to see if that works. I mean, I know that's a gamble. And if you adopt, you would definitely, do get a child. So that, again, has to be up to you. And that can be done at any time during the baby steps. And then contributing to retirement. And then if you do have kids, baby step 5 is to save for kid college. So you'd be doing that and paying off extra on the mortgage. You do all that at the same time as they apply. So you have a mortgage right now, and you should be investing right now on baby step 4. So you do 15% of that, and then any extra you can put towards that new car first, and then maybe do the fertility treatment, and then pay down the mortgage. Put anything extra on the mortgage. So yes, but you are correct. They don't seem to work all at the same time, and they never do. And I say that all the time. I always say everybody wants to do everything all at the same time. And you are doing investing in retirement and paying down the mortgage. You are doing that at the same time. But then you throw car and fertility treatment in there or adoption in there, then that's extra stuff. And you cannot do everything all at the same time. Unfortunately, when they cost money. If they don't cost money, you can do a ton of stuff at the same time. Where are we? Bug Eater 1988. Moving and need some opinions. I really don't post to Reddit all that much. Doesn't matter. So I suppose I'm a creeper. Doesn't matter. I've made some really crappy financial decisions. We all have. Welcome to the club. And the first rule of Crappy Financial Decision Club is yet you do not talk about Crappy Financial Decision Club. I went from, actually you do talk about it, and hopefully that will help other people to not do that. I went from making $215,000 a year to about $116,000 with other incentives. We're currently selling our house and moving as I got a new job. Here's the facts. Okay, here are the facts. And I don't really care about the backstory. That's great because most of the time that doesn't matter. I know I screwed up. Yes. Again, we all do. Give yourself some grace. You're trying to make it better now. I'm 36 man. Wife is 35. 3 young kids. Oh, $160K on the house. Appraised at about $280K. Okay, so 60 in equity there ish, or like 50 probably after you get done with all the fees and stuff. Took out some personal loans. Yep, that was bad. That was screwing up. Yes, for sure. But you just got to deal with the dumb stuff you've done and make it better. Took out some personal loans and have one for $18,000, one for $44,000. In the name of the house, fixing it up when we shouldn't have done that. In the name of fixing up the house, took out some credit cards. Dumb, but here we are. Indeed. In the name of moving forward, this person loves in the name of stuff. Moving forward is at about $41K. Yep. Expecting to get roughly $80 to $100K after realtor fees and closing. Oh yeah, I don't know what I was looking at. Yeah, that's 120 difference. So yeah. So 80 to 100K. Yep. So what's the question? All that goes to debt. You don't put it on another house. No house buying when you have step 2 debt. Where we are expecting to get roughly 80 to 100K. We do not have car payments. That's awesome. That's a good thing. That's one thing we started with. And also the 1,000 in savings. Great. I've already added up after paying off as much as possible what to do. We can pay off some loans and have the money in down payment for about a 400K house. No, you do not do that until you are completely out of debt. Only then do you take on another mortgage. So you did it dumbly the first time. We're not trying to repeat dumb mistakes. Or do we find a nice townhome and rent? Yeah. Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be that nice, actually. It just has to serve the purpose. We can afford about $2,800 to $3,100 in a mortgage. Nope. Or it can rent a nice place for $2,100 and pay off an extra $20K. Yes, do that and pay off everything, and then you get your full emergency fund, and then you can start saving for a house if you want. Besides that, we do have a boat. Sell it and sell both of those. Crap, man. And a camper, which both are $525 a month combined. Sell those. Get out of those. Dumb as crap. Looking to sell these as the new place we are moving to, as a bigger recreational market. I'm going to sell them right now. I'm not going to wait for it to move and to move those somewhere else to another city to then pay them off. That's dumb as crap too. really looking to get out of debt. If you are, then you sell them right now. And make better decisions after this move. Yeah, do that, including don't wait to sell those. And don't buy a house while you still have step 2 debt. You're doing it wrong. Alrighty. That'll do it for today. Thank you everybody for watching. Once again, I'm Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions certified, not just some guy, certified financial coach by Ramsey Solutions. And if you, yes, you are having money problems, or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, or just want me to tell you that you're doing it wrong, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me at calendly.com/coachstevemoney. I'll fix the wiggly on the camera for tomorrow's show. You can do that at calendly.com/coachstevemoney. You can email me about financial advice, about anything on my YouTube channel, about anything else you have on your mind, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Donations can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney or to CashApp, $CoachSteveMoney, or Walmart gift card again to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Upcoming streams include, or actually the only stream I'm doing now, that is going to be scheduled is the Ramsey Show Aftershow show, and that's Monday through Friday at 5:25 p.m. Eastern Time once the Ramsey Show is done on YouTube. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And as always, make smart financial decisions every day.